Welcome to Are You Paying Attention?
Hello!
I'm Sarah.
And I'm David, and we're here to talk about Survivor, not Big Brother.
No, but that's, we love the hello. We have to keep it.
I heard from some fans, shout out to Beverly Lavender, that they were missing my signature greeting, so I thought I'd bring it back.
Yes, it was inspired by Johnny Mac, but it lives on with you.
Yes, we love him. This week on Survivor, it was a good week.
They started out showing us some game talk pretty quickly,
Yes.
which is always a good little foreshadowing what might happen. Peter was telling Ty that they got his alliance member out,
Which
and
they
that and that he wants to get back at them.
Right.
And that Joe and Aubrey are his targets.
Right.
Joe first.
Yeah, because Joe's not doing anything for the tribe. We need to get him out. And then over on the other tribe, on Gondel, right? The yellow tribe.
I don't know which one is which.
I think it's Gondel. Debbie's got a little crush on Nick.
Yeah, what was she saying? Like he's a Greek god.
He's a Greek god and blah. He's got the bone structure and yada yada.
Talking his ear off.
Yeah.
And he was like, I just have to listen to her.
Yeah, and he's like, I think Debbie has a crush on me, so, you know, I might be able to use this, blah, blah. And then she's like, Nick is for sure gonna get a modeling contract out of this. And I would know because I've been modeling off and on for 20 years.
And then they put a lower third up that said Debbie, part-time model.
The best.
Slayed me.
I just want her to stay until the very end.
Yeah.
I love
her. She's good comedy.
She really is. So then they go to the reward challenge.
And this time, they were getting a lot of food. And I was like, oh, good.
This is a valid reward.
Oh, yes. Fight for this one.
Yeah.
Spices.
So Michelle falters with the buoy situation and
the very first leg of the challenge.
Right. It ends up basketball, Scott versus Nick. And Scott pulls out. It was very neck and neck.
It was very close.
But Scott wins, and the Gondel tribe gets the reward. So then immediately now, people are already talking game. So Michelle knows that she's the target now because she's messed up on the reward challenge.
Yeah, she took the blame, understandably.
And
she's very upset with herself.
Debbie's doing a little bit of scheming with Michelle, and she's like, you know, don't worry about it. Like, maybe we can work together, blah. But then Michelle goes to talk to Nick because they're both from the beauty tribe originally, and he's like, no, you're the target.
Yeah, he was like, don't work with her. You have to work with me. And you're the target, so you just need to stick with me. Oh my gosh. Like, I already thought he's a sociopath.
Yeah.
But now, like, his levels of manipulation are on fleek.
Yes.
I don't know what scale you put manipulation.
Fleek.
But
I measure manipulation by fleek.
So whatever chart it is, off the charts.
Yes.
Now, obviously, on Survivor, a lot of people don't fall for that kind of stuff.
Right.
So she was on to him from the get-go, and she just had to play the part. But whoa, dude, whoa.
And he was just pretty condescending, you know, to be honest. No, you're the target, and you just need to listen to me. I know what's best. You don't know what you're doing. It just, I don't know if that's what he said, probably not, but it kind of came off that way.
Yeah, it's hard to tell, like, because you want to be like, oh my gosh, is this you?
Yeah.
You know, it might just be for the game, and he's not really like a horrible, chauvinist, awful person.
I hope not.
But dang.
Yeah, so Michelle is like, well, I just have to like pretend I'm like a dumb girl and play along with him, but she's onto him.
Yeah.
She knows that he's kind of a dick.
So then on the other team, Joe had seen Peter talking to Ty and going off with everybody else except he and Aubrey.
Yeah.
And he was like, he's after me. He's after me. He's like, I'm going to confront him.
He saw her talking to Julia, right?
Yes.
And he was like, why is he talking to this new tribe member?
Right. She had just joined. We forgot to say that at the reward challenge. She survived on the island by herself. So now Peter, like, this is another ally that he can talk to and suck her in. So he's spilling the beans. I want Aubrey and Joe out. Joe is like, I'm going to confront Peter. And he does his little FBI tactics.
Oh, yeah.
And he's up in Peter's face and he's drilling. Like, did you say this? Did you say this? Did you say this?
Yeah.
Worst lying I've ever seen by Peter.
Oh my God. What? Wait. What was the question? What are you asking me? Totally stalling.
If anyone says, what was the question?
You already have your answer.
Then you're a liar.
Yeah.
That's the worst stall / cover up.
When Joe originally did this plan, I was like, this is too much, Joe. Like, why are you doing so much? But I really felt like I learned something in this moment of like, you just have to really go at them aggressively, back them into a corner, and then see how they react, and their reaction is gonna tell you what you need to know, regardless of what they're saying.
Yeah.
you're gonna find out.
Right. He clearly was flustered and looked like he was lying.
Yeah.
So Joe walks away going, well, now I know.
Yeah.
Then they go to the immunity challenge. So that's where we are with game time.
And it was very close.
So close.
People are on people's shoulders.
Yeah. The blue tribe gets it.
Yes, they win, ultimately. But it was very close.
Which means the tribe with Peter, Joe, Aubrey, New Julia, they're the ones that are going to tribal. Because Joe attacked Peter. Peter now, well, I wanted to get them out, but now I feel like I have to put that on the back burner and vote with them right now.
Yes.
Aubrey is convincing Joe that it doesn't matter what Joe found out.
Right.
They need Peter for the numbers.
Yep.
Which did not make sense to me.
Yeah, but she's sort of thinking like, we need Peter because if we vote Peter out, then the other three, Scott, Ty, and Julia, are going to turn around and get the two of us out. So we have to keep Peter for the majority, yada yada.
Yeah.
So Joe, you need to go and make amends with Peter.
But she's assuming that Peter's going to vote with them.
Which obviously is not true.
Contradicts the information that Joe just brought back to you.
Yeah.
And what they don't know is that the rest of this tribe doesn't want Peter either.
Right.
So then they're not even thinking about ganging up on Joe and Aubrey. They're thinking about getting Peter out. But Joe does go make up with Peter. They mend fences.
Yep.
But the Ty and the rest of them are like, we gotta do something to get Peter out. So they go to talk to Aubrey. Well, Aubrey really doesn't hear it.
Yeah.
She's just like, okay.
But they're like, just so you know, Peter came to us and was throwing out your name.
Yeah, not even just Joe. He was throwing out Aubrey's name.
He's throwing both of you under the bus, so you can't really rely on him. So they're trying to get in her head, you know what I mean? They're trying to manipulate her.
Which is good information for her to have, because for some reason she thought that Peter was on her side.
Right.
Okay, dumb. I was thinking about her on that first day when she had her meltdown and she had like fruit all over her face.
Here's what I'll say about Aubrey. She really is playing a lot harder than I expected.
Yeah, right?
She's like, she thinks about the game a lot more than I thought. Because I just, you know, when you see her with like mashed fruit all over her face having heat stroke on day 2, you're like, oh, this girl is out.
She ain't gonna make it.
But she's very analytical. I think she's a little too logical.
She's too logical and the logic doesn't always make sense, but at least she is thinking things through. And she apparently has Joe as like a blind follower right now.
Right, yes.
We go to tribal with balls in the air of Peter's changed his mind, Joe. What's happening? Aubrey didn't really seem fazed by this information.
And we should say that obviously the other target is Julia. She's the obvious other target because she's the new member of the tribe. So she's sort of like trying to claw her way into this tribe the whole episode. So it's Peter or Julia going into tribal.
Tribal starts, people are talking, answering Jeff's questions. And then all of a sudden, whispers start. And people are whispering like, Peter?
Is it Peter?
We doing Peter? Like asking each other who they're voting for. I mean, it was confusing going into it, but now it's even more confusing. Like, what are people saying?
And Jeff calls him out. He's like, what is all this talk? Like, this is crazy that this is all happening out in the open. And then Scott turns around, he's like, yo, Julia, original plan. Just in front of everybody.
Which I loved, but I also was like, I don't know what the original plan was.
I don't know what's happening, right?
And Aubrey didn't know what the original plan is, so now she's whispering to Joe, like, who's the original plan? Who's the original plan?
And Joe is like, we're getting Julia.
Joe's like not budging.
But then Aubrey's turning to Scott, and she's like, what's the original plan? He's like, Peter, Peter, Peter. So Aubrey's like in the middle of this whole thing. She's sort of like the deciding vote here.
So they go to vote, and they show Aubrey write down Julia's name, but they also showed her pause. And so you know she's not so sure she's gonna cast that vote. They read the votes, and it was Julia, Peter. But then they show a vote that has Julia's name crossed out with Peter under it.
That was it. And he was like, the next person voted off Survivor, P, and you see Julia crossed out, and you know it was Aubrey.
And Peter's gone. Mr. Manipulation Ego is gone.
Which, I was not sad to see him go.
Not sad to see him go, but you did question if that was a good strategy.
Yeah, because I just feel like now, these three, Scott, Ty, and Julia, can turn around and get Aubrey and Joe out.
And I agree, obviously that's a possibility, but I don't think saving Peter was going to stop that. Because I don't trust Peter. I think he put it on the back burner for this week because of the confrontation. But I think next tribal,
he would flip.
He was gonna flip again. He does not want Joe and Aubrey around.
But it turns out that none of this really matters because next week is the merge.
Y'all, it's the merge. I feel like there's still a lot of people for a merge.
It does feel like there's a lot. All of these alliances are out the window.
And no idols have been used.
Oh, that's right. I didn't even think about that.
All idols are in play.
That's right.
And there might be more. to like join.
So who has idols? It's Ty and Neil and Jason, right?
Yes. And for some reason, Scott thinks he has 2 of those.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see where the alliances go now. Are people sort of gonna go back into their original Braun, Brain, Beauty kind of situations? Or are there any new alliances that are gonna stick? I would think it's gonna go back to the original.
2 girls, at least. The 2
Michelle
Beauty.
and Julia.
Yeah. Unfortunately, they lost one of them. But those 2 will definitely go back together. I feel like Joe and Debbie will probably go back together, which might strengthen the whole
with
Joe, Debbie, Aubrey thing.
And I definitely think Sydney, Jason, and Scott are gonna go back together on Braun.
I don't know.
You don't think so?
Sydney and Debbie kind of, I mean, that might have been fake. Like, it's hard to tell with Sydney. She's so under the radar. Yeah. So I honestly don't know where Sydney's gonna fall.
I think definitely Jason and Scott are gonna be back together.
Yeah, they will.
I just feel like because that tribe went to so many tribal councils and, you know, Sydney, Jason, and Scott got 3 people out together, I just feel like there's probably a strong bond between the 3 of them.
Maybe.
You make a great point with Sydney. Like, she's probably playing multiple alliances at this point. I think she's a dark horse in this competition.
She's still one of my faves.
Yeah. So what did you think was the brainiest moment?
I feel like the brain came in when Ty and his little group were like, we really do want Peter out, not Julia. So let's get in Aubrey's head and tell her what's really going on with Peter. Yeah. And giving her the information. And ultimately they did get her to flip.
That was very smart. Good gameplay there.
Ty knows what he's doing, you guys.
He's good.
The most beautiful moment, David.
Seeing Julia alive. Seeing her walk on 2 legs.
Walked out and actually like walked out like a healthy person.
She hadn't lost any limbs.
Nope.
You know, she didn't have a rash on her face. She survived. An 18-year-old survived on an island by herself.
Braun.
So we decided it was in the reward challenge.
Yes, Nick. I mean, it's a basketball challenge and they knew that ahead of time and they kind of were like, well, obviously Scott's got this. But Scott did not run away with it. Nick was neck and neck. I'm like, Nick is neck and neck with Scott.
Yeah.
It's hard to say. But yeah, he was right there. That was pretty impressive.
He was on the verge of winning, but then Scott pulled it out. But that was our browniest moment. Way to go, Nick.
Yay! Yeah. This was a fun episode.
It was good.
I'm alright with that.
I'm excited for the merge.
Very excited for the merge.
Yeah.
Alright, you guys, let us know what your moments were that you thought were brainiest, brawniest, and beautiful this week.
Yes, and click subscribe because we'll be back next week talking about the merge.
Bye.
See ya.